Welcome to Brainstorming America. That yodel. Ken Rollins here, and with a co-host John Merrill. John, good to see you, brother.
Ken, always good to be back.
You're traveling man. Where'd you come from today?
Well, today I came from Tuscaloosa County. Had a couple of meetings over there before it was time to come and record our shows, but delighted to be in Calhoun County right now.
Where we're doing this show, folks, what he just said, that's a vacation for me. Go to Tuscaloosa. I mean, we pack up our clothes and stuff and go there, but it's just in the everyday breeze for him. Well, let's, Brainstorming America, we try to cover everything that's current in the news and try to be ahead of Fox and CNN and all the others. And folks, if you've never seen our show, and I hope you have, is what we do is we take the subjects that's popular in today's news, and we break them down to where we hope that you understand them a little bit better. In other words, we go in depth a little bit more. We dig a little bit deeper, and we put our spin on it. We have been known to spin and give our views on things, haven't we, John?
Without question.
Without question. All right, so the first thing I'll start with today, I just want to bring up some subjects. One of them, just recently we went through our Super Bowl. Who was you rooting for?
Well, we were kind of pulling for the Niners this time, and it's interesting because over the years I have changed my allegiances to the teams that may be in the Super Bowl because I don't really have a defined NFL team. I grew up watching the Dolphins. They were my favorite team, and I still root for them now because of Tua Tagovailoa. Of course, University of Alabama, great. But we were pulling for the Niners because it's been 30 years since they won the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs have just recently won, and they've won enough. So we were for them, but of course they won, and it was a great game.
Well, if you ask me, you want to know who I was for? I know you're just dying to know. I was for Taylor.
I knew you were for Taylor.
You know,
anybody that can sing, you for them.
No, I really, she's a lot of things, but she goes back to the day. You know who discovered her?
I do, and he just passed away.
Just passed away.
I was
Toby
so
Keith.
sad to see Toby leave us, but Toby found her and helped turn her into a big star.
She was dancing around Nashville. I say dancing. She was literally doing what everybody does. Go up there, going from door to door to door, from publishing company to publishing company. I got some songs. Would you listen to my songs? We don't have time to listen. She was doing that, and having been up there myself for all those years, she was just one of the people doing that. And Toby happened to hear her music. Who is that? And the next thing you know, he signed her, and she's on her way to who she is now. But that was one of the things. The other thing is, she gave, when they had this shooting at the parade, she gave $100,000 to the widow.
That's right.
Of that. She does a lot of things for youth groups and things like that people are not aware of.
And I'm sure she would have preferred to have done that without it receiving the media attention that it did.
Well, somebody like you has got that big money like her, you got that wheelbarrow that you roll to the bank every week. That's what they used to say about us that worked at the depot.
No doubt.
That everybody that worked at Anastarma Depot, and there's one of them right there, that me and Jeff used to have a wheelbarrow, and every payday we'd just roll our money down to the credit union and dump it in there.
That's the way it's supposed to be done. Well, let me share something with you that you don't know.
Uh-oh.
But in 2008, it was probably in late February 2008, I was the spokesperson for the Tuscaloosa County Board of Education, and we received notification that we were going to have a special guest come and attend one of the proms in the Tuscaloosa County school system. The school that they had chosen to visit was Hillcrest High School. Now, my son was a senior that year at Hillcrest High School, and they had had an outstanding football season. They had won the state basketball championship earlier that month in February of 2008, and it was just a great year altogether for a fine group of seniors. But we were notified that this young celebrity wanted to come and to attend the prom at Hillcrest High School. So about 2 weeks later, we were notified that the person that was going to attend the prom was a young recording artist named Taylor Swift. And so Taylor they notified us that they were coming and put everything together, and I was one of the people that was assigned to be with her while she was there to make sure that she had the experience that she wanted to enjoy, because she had actually not been able to go to her own prom when she was in high school because of her recording style and act and things that she was required to do. She didn't have time to do that. So she wanted to have that experience. And she was the same age as those children. Now it would be 33, 34 years old. And actually attended the prom at Hillcrest High School, because that's where they held the prom, was at the school. The students got to meet her. They got to have their picture made with her. And of course now she's the biggest star that we have in recording world. But that was an unbelievable experience for those young people at that time back in 2008.
Well, what did
As a
you
matter
think?
of fact, just to show you, it's not something I'm just making up.
Okay.
Not that I would do that, but of course one of the two of us has a proclivity for that. But I would tell you that MTV came in and did a full-blown show about the attendance that she had at the prom, and it was just a remarkable experience for all of them. And then it was recorded for posterity on MTV.
Wow. What did you think of Reba's national anthem?
Oh, she did a great job, but she does a great job in everything that
Yeah.
she does. And that was just another example. We had the privilege to meet Reba one time at the Barbara Motorsports Park, and
Yeah.
just so gracious and friendly and very kind. And we were excited to have had that opportunity, because we'd seen her in concert before too. But she is a great person and does so much for so many people, just like so many of you do for the people you come in contact with. We're delighted you've chosen to join us today. Stay with us through this break. We'll see you back here in just a minute.
And welcome back to Brainstorming America, Ken Rollins. And well, John, when we went to, we're here with John Merrill, when we went to a break, he was talking about the Taylor Swift prom thing, and MJ back in the office there is telling me about, I'm just, stuff that happened, I had no idea. I thought I knew everything about that. But let me tell you something that you may not know. Back in the 70s, I was working for an agency called Lavender Blake. It was the largest booking agency out of the city of Nashville. And we had Tammy, George, Statler Brothers, we had everybody. We had Ronnie Millsap. And a guy walks in the office named Red Seagull. He was a Western singer out of the Texas area, and he was big time down there in New Mexico and whatever. And Red brought a little red-headed, freckle-faced girl in there. He had just got her signed across the street at Mercury Records, which was directly across. I was at United Artists Towers, and it just directly out our door and into Mercury. So they just walked right across the street and walked to know if we wanted to book her. She had already had the number 10 record before this happened. When she came into our office, she had number 10. Well, there's 5 of us booking agents. Each one of us had a different part of the United States territory-wise. And I had the Texas, New Mexico, Arizona area. And Reba came in and smiling and just talking as hillbilly as she could be. And we're thinking a lot of things, like, and one of them is not there as a big star, you know.
Right.
So somebody made a phone call, and Ralph Emery was getting ready to tape his radio show. So he had heard about her, and he was willing to give her like a 2-hour radio show to tape it and give it. So somebody's got to take her up there. She just flew in. She didn't have a car. So us 5 guys, 5 agents, one of us has got to take her up there. And we, no, I don't want to take it. So we drew straws. And all the years I worked there, I always got the short straw, and I don't know how that was happening, but I think I got a good idea. Yeah, probably one, but all of them were short straws. But anyhow, I had to carry Reba to the TV station where she did her radio show at WSM. And I sat there and listened to her tell her whole story, how she came out of the rodeo and all that stuff. I was impressed with what she was saying. And I've kind of got to liking her before I had to drive her back. I had a Grand Prix And I drove up there in my car. I drove her back. And in the meantime, she's like, do you want to stop and get something? And we stopped at a Dairy Queen or something. She wanted something from a Dairy Queen. Is there a Dairy Queen here? And I said, yeah, the one down here on DeMumbering Street. So we pulled in there, got the milkshake. That's all she wanted. But that was, I met Reba before Reba was Reba. And she was as corn-fed as they come. I mean, she really is the real deal. If
No
you
doubt.
wanna. And she had just come to Nashville, had her a record, but she was still based in Oklahoma. She was not even thinking about moving to Nashville. But that's my time with Miss Reba. She's a great person too. She's not just a celebrity like me. We've had a lot of things. We've had a lot of things going on since I saw you last, and one of them is over in with these Iran proxies that are got their little drones flying around, targeting ships and GI stuff, and they've killed 3 of our Americans, and our response has been some more drones blowing up a warehouse or something. And my point is, I don't think that our leadership, and I'm not just talking about Biden, I'm talking about our leadership as a whole, has got winning on their mind. Because the culprit and all of that, when I said Iranian proxies, sounds to me like Iran would be the problem. The common sense would tell you if you cut the snake off at the head, you'll stop the problem out there. So they keep getting for tat. I'll put a drone up, you put a drone up, we'll kill 3, you kill. And it's not solving anything. We had got a problem over there with Iran, as wild as they are and allowed to do. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, look, there's so many different elements to what has been introduced since the original bombing that took place. And the thing that continues to disturb me is not so much the conversation about Iran or the other actors that are involved, it's the way the media continues to portray what is going on in Gaza, what's going on with Hamas, and what's going on with the Israelis. And anybody that has paid attention to anything that has occurred knows that the Israelis were the ones that were attacked to begin with. And the one thing that anybody should know, if they've ever followed what has happened in Israel since it became a nation state back in the 1940s, is that once you punch Israel, they're going to punch you back twice as hard, and they're going to make you regret that you ever considered punching them. And that's what's happened with Benjamin Netanyahu and everyone that's a part of the Israeli government. So I think we need to reevaluate and reassess where we are, why we're where we are, and redouble our efforts to support the Israelis as they continue to try to get out from under the stranglehold that they've been experiencing and put this to death once and for all.
I had 3 Israelis that worked for me at the Annis Army Depot, and they were there training, and I was so in awe of their way they looked at the world as a whole, as just captain. The highest rank there was a captain, but I talked to him in length about that, and one day I asked Captain, why do all those other countries fear your little bitty country the way they do? And he slapped me in the chest. I want to finish this when we come back, but I know we got to
Yes.
they're hollering commercial.
Yes, sir.
So you take that and I'll go.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Brainstorming America. Appreciate you coming back with us. We was talking with John Merrill, and John, I went to commercial, was talking about the Israelis that worked for me out at the depot, and the guy, as I asked him why people feared Israel being a small country like that, and he slapped me in the chest backhanded, not mean, just wanted to get my attention, and he asked me, where USS Pueblo? I go, what's that got to do with this? And where is USS Pueblo? USS Pueblo is still in the hands of North Korea, as I understand it right now, because they captured our ship and our crew. North Korea did. And he said, you give us, USS Pueblo, we go get our ship. That's why he's telling me that people feared them. He said, America going to, we go get our USS Pueblo. And remember the show they had where they captured those Israelis, and they went in there,
Raid on Entebbe.
Yeah, went in there dressed up like Sudanese or whatever, and got their people back, 100-something plus people. So he used that as we'll go get our
They
ship.
they got all their people, and somebody didn't want.
That's
And
right.
they just took them all.
Yeah, they just dumped them out. Yeah, okay. That's great. But anyway, I want to share that story with you about the Israelis, and we have. Speaking of the Israelis, our country is younger generation has turned against so anti-Semitic, turned against the Israeli people, and right now the the Democrats leadership is in trouble if they even say they support Israel, and that's always been our greatest ally. And I will tell you, if Israel falls, you just go ahead and that's just like a sinkhole. That whole Middle East is going to fall because they are the most stable thing that's over there as it is. So you watching all that, and I know you got some thoughts on it. So that's not one of our points to talk about.
No, but look, you've hit it dead on the head. I mean, it's one of those situations where we have put ourselves in a hole because slowly but surely we've allowed a deterioration of the support of Israel. And President Biden is probably the least effective president I know in my lifetime when it comes to supporting Israel and what's going on with Israel. And that's really unlike any other part of time of his service in elective office, whether he was in the United States Senate or as vice president. But now, because he's trying to placate so many of these rabid extremists that are a part of the Democratic Party, he doesn't really know how to respond to that. And so he would rather take a non-committal position instead of doing what he's supposed to do, which is to support Israel at all costs.
Our other president, he almost had a solution to the Middle East situation with the Accords. What were they called? The Accords that he got his son-in-law was the one that really did all the legwork on that. And I saw a thing yesterday where he had been nominated for an award. What's that biggest award you can get? What is that big award you get?
The Nobel Peace Prize?
Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes, sir.
And there was a lot of Democrats just having a fit over that, because it's still action. There's a woman introduced it the other day that Trump should still be considered for what he did over there, his work. And if Biden had went on with it, who knows what that's. But now he's trying to take credit for that he was working on something like that, and that's the reason this deal happened with Hamas, is they was afraid he was going to go on through and get Israel to be friends with Egypt and all this kind of thing. And he's claiming credit for what Trump had already done, and I know that surprises you to hear something like that.
Well, it disappoints me, but as you know, it doesn't surprise me. But I will tell you something else that bothers me about the president, an action that he's taken recently, and that is the forgiveness of student loan debt by people who actually accrued debt because they wanted to study at an institution of higher learning, and then they took all of this debt and they haven't paid anything toward the retirement of the debt. And now the president is saying, we think that debt needs to be forgiven because we know that your intentions were good, but we know that practically you're not able to do this. Well, let me share something with you to the unanointed or uninformed. The one thing that you need to know is that the community college system, not just in Alabama, but all across the nation, is an affordable form of higher education that each and every citizen can utilize if they choose to advance their personal career, their personal edification in the area of technical instruction or educational delivery. And that is an affordable way to get higher education and to advance in higher education, even to achieve a 4-year degree. But for someone to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans because they don't know what they want to study. They don't know how they want to apply what they are studying, and then finish with a degree in art appreciation or basket weaving, and then think that they need to have their debt retired by the United States government is an abomination. It's against the teachings in the Bible. It's against the form of government that our founding fathers established on not paying your debts. And it's really something that has irritated me since the president started talking about it many years ago, because one of the things that he said was, if you've already paid your debt back, well, that's what you should have done, but there's no relief for you. And that is just plain sorry.
Wow. Well, you know my daughter Leah, if you met her, she has been for years trying to get her foot in. She went to surgical technician school. Daddy's put a lot of money into the secondary college systems after she graduated high school. I always felt if she learned a trade, something that was doable, she would do better in life. And she finally, last week, she's got her a pretty little badge now. She's a certified medical assistant. She's running a doctor's office. It's a big clinic. And she's finally using that something other than that big college $100,000 Harvard situation. She'll do well in that. I know you're glad for her, but she's, I wanted to mention that. I'm proud of her that she finally got that B. But when I went to the doctor to have all these big stitches put in the other day, the certified medical assistant was the one that did all the work, while the doctors then told them what sutures to use and that kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
So I'm proud of her to do that.
We're glad you're healing up. We're glad she's got an outstanding position, and we're so excited that you chose to join us today for the 50th edition of Brainstorming America. We hope you'll be back with us again next week as we talk about more interesting topics. Thank you for joining us, and have a great evening.